Having faith in Hashem, we all know that it's so important. But in this week's Parsha, we learn two very important lessons about how to have faith in Hashem. When the Jewish people crossed through the Red Sea after that split and were saved from the Egyptians, when they got to the other side, they said Shira, sang thanks to Hashem. And the Torah describes how after the men said Shira, after the men said their praises, the women burst out with musical instruments, and they too sang Shira. And the commentaries point out, where did the women get instruments from? Where did they have musical instruments from? Explain the commentaries that the women took these instruments when they left Mitzrayim. Now let's stop for a moment and think about what that means. That means when they were still in Mitzrayim, they were still in a country that they'd been slaved in for hundreds of years. Not only did they have the Amunah, not only did they have the faith that Hashem was going to take that in Mitzrayim, they went as far as to take musical instruments. Meaning to them it wasn't something they believed in theory. It was something that was actually going to happen. It was such a real part of them that they sat down, they had a planning committee. Well, when Hashem saves us, how are we going to celebrate? Wouldn't it be great to have musical instruments? Maybe the men had Amunah, maybe the men had faith as well. But it wasn't as real to them as the women's faith. Their faith was so strong that it wasn't just that they believed it internally, it was such a reality that they actually sat down, planned for it, and took out musical instruments. Whenever we go through a rough time, there's a level of faith in Hashem saying, okay, I think I'll be able to get through this. And then there's a level of confidence that I know I'm going to get through this. I know Hashem is going to help me through this. I know I'm going to be able to move on, and therefore I have to start planning for that. Very famously, the Panovich Yeshiva in Bnei Brak was started, the land for the yeshiva was purchased days before the Nazis were expected to come and wipe out all the inhabitants of Israel. However, the Panovich Arav, in his great faith in Hashem, not only did he believe that he would be saved, it was during that time, he probably got a really good deal on it, then he went out and he purchased the land which would eventually be used for the Panovich Yeshiva. To him, it wasn't just a internal thought about, I hope Hashem's going to help me. It was a reality, and he went out and purchased a piece of land. But there's a second lesson that the Torah teaches us as well. And that's the lesson that we learn from the man. Because our sages tell us that the man, which was the bread that the Jewish people got in the desert, miraculously it fell from heaven, that wasn't just how the people survived then, but that also represents how Hashem takes care of us today in our own lives. On the surface, it looks like that's the reason why we're able to survive, why we're able to live, why we have food, why we have clothes, why we have all our material needs taken care of, is because we go out, we get a job, we get paid, and we're able to use that money to take care of our needs. But Hashem is telling us that just like in the desert, when I gave you the man, it was clear to everybody that this came straight from heaven. So too, anytime throughout your history, when I provide from you, that's straight from heaven. I want you to do your part as well, and we have to do our part. But we also have to realize that ultimately everything comes from Hashem. Two very important lessons to keep in mind. On the one hand, when everything seems bleak and dark, to have that complete faith in Hashem, not only that He's going to save us, but to try to make that a reality. He's going to save us. It's not just something we believe. We know it. It's already happened. It's already a reality, and we have to start planning for that. And to also realize when things are going well and everything is going good and we have everything we need, then to realize that also comes from Hashem. If we can keep these two lessons in mind, that when things are bad, Hashem's going to help us. And when things are good, everything comes from Hashem. Hashem will surely see that and reveal Himself in an open way with the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days. Have a great, great Shabbos.